Where is the missing Pokemon card game? Why hasn't Pokemon jumped on the kart racing bandwagon? Ever since Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color and Pokemon Snap on the N64, Pokemon had many spin-offs over the years. The Pokemon franchise has only grew in popularity, and although these spin-offs are so many, only few of them were like full games instead of a mini or a collection of mini games. There's so many of them, but there's only so many crossovers. In fact, there's only one crossover in the entire franchise, like a game, like beside Smash Bros. But it means that we don't get games like a Pokemon card game. I mean, just look at the Super Mario Kart series. It is so extremely successful. It's so successful, Nintendo is charging $80 for it because of how popular this series is. In fact, it's one of Nintendo's most popular IPs. Mario Kart was so popular it kickstarted the card game trend of the 90s, and it's still one of the few card games that stayed relevant. Hell, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the most sold Switch video game now. Talk about impressive for a game that launched on popular Wii U. All Nintendo had to do was pack all Mario 8 extra content from the Wii U, plus a little more into one game and release it to the Switch, and it became the most selling video game on the Switch. But that's how much people love a good game. A good racing game. So, what's up, Game Freak? Well, obviously, why Pokemon is a monster collecting RPG. Why should they? Right? Or the more recent answer would probably more like, it will suck too. Well, actually, Pokemon surprisingly did make something similar to that back in the DS. With the remake of Gen 2, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, these games had what fans considered the best minigames in a Pokemon game in the history of the mainline games. The Pokeathlon is a collection of minigames as events that were never seen again, and some of these games were racing games. Two actually. I'm still yet to play the Gen 2 remakes, but apparently you had to use the DS pencil to move the Pokemon, just like an earlier Pokemon game, the first Pokemon racing game, Pokemon Dash. But in this one, it's actually pretty fun apparently, and it marks one of the few times that Pokemon use their spin-offs and incorporate them into the mainline games. I mean, Pokemon Snap should be part of the mainline games, no? They took an insanely broken game that everyone hated and turned it into the most beloved and praised minigame in a mainline Pokemon game. Well, that's an accomplishment. So, if they were able to create a fun mini racing game, why not expand on that and make a whole racing game? Well, you see that Game Freak did attempt, but that was at the height of the popularity of the racing games, which explains why Pokemon Dash was so broken. It was an attempt to use the popularity of both Pokemon and racing games to boost the sales of the DS when it just came out. Since Pokemon Dash happened before the Pokemon DS mainline video games Diamond and Pearl, and by the time Gen 2 remakes happened, racing games were still somewhat popular, so they added that as a fun minigame to an already widely accepted to be an amazing video game. But after that, well, racing games are still loved. I mean, look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or the just revealed Super Mario Kart World. That broke the taboo of video game pricing increase because Nintendo knows that fans would buy it if it's worth it, because I guess it's that good. But for Game Freak, in the space between the post-DS era and today, with the Switch and Switch 2, they have been focusing more into turning their video games into 3D first back then, and now experimenting and making spin-offs. It's just that Pokemon card game, although sounds fun, it doesn't seem to be worth the effort for them. They do make video game spin-offs, but they have to be careful with what they make. Maybe that explains why fans love them so much more than the mainline video games now. And the Gen 2 remakes are for consoles in the past and for generations ago. almost 5 now. But let's be honest here. A Pokemon card games do sound like it would be very fun. And it would actually fit for a minigame in the Scarlet and Violet games, no? What better genre of games to add a racing minigame, especially a karting minigame, than an an open world video game? Rumors say that the next game is heavy in flying and diving. So maybe if not karting, we can get fly racing? Surf racing maybe? Like minigames? That would be cool. And like the possibilities of giving a Pokemon, like every Pokemon, a card with a full game or minigame sounds too good. So I hope that one day we do get the opportunity for something like that to become real. I mean, just think of the possibilities here, and this is a Pokemon game we're talking about. The number of Pokemon doesn't really matter anymore, since they already have to deal with that in every game. But it does add a lot of works to them to design the cards for every Pokemon, but they can just use generic cards to match them with the Pokemon by color. I mean, hey, that's better than nothing. Or just make a racing game. Or add tracks to the already existing Colosseums that are used for Pokemon battles, just like a real life tracks in Colosseums. They add like tracks on the edge of the field, and that can be used for Pokemon to run on. And maybe when you do play, and maybe add obstacles on it when the racing minigame starts. If this is not enough, the games are open world now. It's not hard to add virtual tracks. I mean, let's look at Lumios. This place is begging for a racing minigame. It's a city, for God's sake. It has roads that are begging for any type of car to be driven on. Like, I love Pokemon walkable cities, but these cars, they have to be used. Well, they are being used, but only by taxis. Come on. So, in the end, a card game would be a really nice addition to the franchise, whether it's another mini game or a full spin-off. The possibilities are just too much, and it's way too good to make the request of... What did I write? Too much, and it's a way to make the request of making a fun open world game more real. That's all I have today, discussing about where is the Pokemon card game? And, well, I guess hopefully it doesn't happen. If it does, it would be fun. Probably not. But either way, if you like the video, subscribe or like a video. Hopefully see you next video. Goodbye.